So recently, when I was transiting between the roof of the nether and the rest of the nether, while doing some projects to get my stuff repaired, I realized something. That when I got up to the roof of the nether, I never actually blasted a hole in the roof. I just kind of glitched up here, and then started using portals to get between the roof of the nether and the rest of it. And that's recently come to my attention to be a bit of an inefficiency. Which got me thinking, there used to be this way back in Season 1 and 2 of Coolcraft, and I think it got patched in like 1.16, that we could use to easily break bedrock 100% of the time. However, it stopped working in 1.16. Now, you're probably seeing an animation on screen right now of me building and then using this contraption in an old creative world of mine. Now, the reason why this actually stopped working wasn't because Mojang actually patched the bug that allowed us to break the bedrock, but rather was because they patched the bug that allowed us to create a headless piston, which in this situation was caused by the fact that a TNT minecart would basically instantly explode once it got agitated going around a curve after it had been primed by an activator rail, which meant that the pistons could extend right as the minecart blew up. Now, when this patch happened, and I tried this method and it just didn't work, I basically gave up on the whole thing. It was my experience just thinking, well, that didn't work, so they must have patched this method. Now, I recently decided to come back to this method to see if it actually still worked, and that if I got a long enough run up with the minecart, if it would actually still break the piston head. And as you can see, it does in fact still work, as these pistons are now headless. Just to prove, hey, I'm under here. Within my research, I discovered that you need to, instead of just immediately having the minecart start right before the piston, you need to have 30 exactly powered rails in between the activator rail and the turn in order to make this system work. Of course, this setup is actually completely directional, as north needs to be specifically this direction from the source of what we're doing here. But using the various properties of headless pistons, we can of course manipulate these pistons that we just broke the heads off of and can move them around a little bit. Okay, I just realized I may actually have been wrong on which direction has to be north, so this doesn't work. That's why, but I do have the ability to, I guess, do this again. But yes, once you've built up this weird structure right here, you simply pull the lever. There's another reason why I think this may not have worked. Yeah, okay, remove it. Okay, please stand by as I rebuild this entire machine to be in the right direction this time. And actually remember to remove a block of redstone. Now, as I was saying, I really just have to then flick this lever, peel back the blocks, and the bedrock is completely gone. And I will reveal my completely empty chat history here to prove absolutely nothing. Okay, well, just trust me, this actually does work. And hey, here's the ladder that I used many months ago to actually get up here into the roof of the nether. Anyway, hey everyone, JSD Cool here, and welcome to another episode of Coolcraft Season 6. Now, in the last episode I didn't really do much because I was a little bit pressed for time for the episode, but I did build this enclosure around my storage system, which has been really nice to be able to AFK here instead of in there for, well, the last while. So in this episode we're going to continue executing the plans that I made in the last episode, and starting that by building the enclosure around this cluster of farms right here. Of course, excluding the wheat tower, because I didn't have that in my backup when I was building this design. a few short hours later, and we are all good here on this building. Some parts felt like they took a while to make, but besides that, this building wasn't too bad. There was no real detail for me to... Oh, and yeah, mobs can spawn there, and they're coming for me, because I haven't built the road that goes under there yet, which is something I might do off camera a little bit later. But yes, it's kind of dangerous with that there, but there is an entrance inside here, which we will eventually be doing some decorations for. Ideally, I would like to be able to place a lot of beacons around the base area, or around the city, you know, for speed, jump boost, all that stuff, so that wherever we are, we hopefully don't have to worry about it, or at least wherever I am, I don't have to worry about that. But the biggest hurdle currently to doing that is actually the acquiring of the nether stars themselves, because we have the wither skulls, obviously, and soul sand isn't that hard to get. It's just the process of actually acquiring the skulls themselves is tedious and long, because you gotta come here, you gotta place stuff, then you gotta manually kill the wither, you know, step back so you don't get damaged by the explosion, all that sort of stuff. So we're gonna make the automated system to deal with that. Now, the first step in, of course, building this device is actually to dig out the area, which actually takes a hot second because endstone, it takes a hot moment to mine. I think deep slate might be slightly longer, but this still ain't no cakewalk here. Once again, that took a long time for this hole, but anyhow, now let's just actually pretty quickly build up the redstone that goes inside of it. That did not exactly take very long, as I predicted, and now I can just start getting this thing into use, and we'll get a bunch of nether stars. Okay, so this is a problem here. Yeah, this chest is not supposed to have all this junk in it. And I think that I know why this is happening, and this chunk border here has something to do with it. And also, this is the second time this has happened, so what I'm thinking is happening... Okay, the first time I have no idea what went on. This chunk border might still have something to do with it. What is going on here is there was endstone flowing into the system here, and I unloaded this chunk here, which has all the redstone in it, which meant that this redstone wasn't processing to turn this torch back on once the endstone stopped flowing, which meant everything got drained out of the hopper, and then that's why it's broken. Come to think about it, this could also cause stuff to end up in the miscellaneous chests here when there are actually places in the storage system that could house it. So I just gotta be a bit more vigilant about actually keeping the system loaded, I guess. Alright, I have now spent a while flattening out the areas where the roads will go here. Thanks to those very handy beacons that I just got, and as you can see over here, I've actually been digging out the lanes for the road as well. I haven't done as much of that over here because it is mostly stone over this way. But yeah, I guess next up is I should start building some of these roads. Alright, I've done some work here off camera a bit. As you can see, I built this road that goes under the factory here. Now, you may have noticed that this video has come out like a week later than it was normally going to. And yes, you would know that if you were watching my live streams, which I'm generally doing Fridays and Sundays, albeit probably not this past Friday when this video came out for reasons. But yeah, so I'll watch my live streams usually around 7 p.m. Eastern. Anyhow, speaking of live streams, on past live streams, we've actually finished the grid of roads here in downtown, which has been quite good. Mind you, nothing is built out here, and the chances that things are gonna get built out here is significantly lacking. But I started building the highway that goes right through the center of downtown here. And this took a fuck ton of glowstone for just this segment here, which is just like 2 strips in the center. Mind you, this highway has to go other places as well. So that's fun. Now, as you can tell by the fact that I'm saying this video is releasing late, it is, well, past the time a video would normally release. Specifically, today is Super Bowl Sunday, and the actual game starts in like 20 minutes. And Jared Cool has just left for the watch-along party on campus, so I am going to head over to his area of the city and, let's just say, turn up the heat a bit. So then, let's see what I can accomplish in a time-lapse here during the game, and also I'm going to probably dip out for the halftime show whenever that happens. So yeah, let's see how this goes, and cue the time-lapse. Yes, sir. This time it was a much simpler build than past year's pranks are, but mind you, this time e22 has not really built up all that much. I mean, this has popped up since I did the prank, so I didn't really have much to do stuff off of, but a blazing inferno on the second floor of his storage system here is really a good one, I think. You know, and just a fire truck that's a bit too wide for the lanes out here that I got off of Google Images. And yeah, that's basically it. Alright, I'm now going to build the last of the buildings that was planned out in the last episode. And I guess the roads will just kind of be worked on over time. So yeah, let's get into, I guess, what's the third time left of this episode? Jeez. Okay, so we'll talk about the building in a moment. I recently got back to the server after AFKing on server overnight and, you know, going to class, all that sort of stuff. And I'm noticing the MSPT is rather high right now. Like, on the tab list here, it's yellow. And there seem to be a fair amount of entities in the world, but none of them are, like, items around me. So, yeah, this is a truly precarious situation. Now, as I'm flying here, you may have guessed I found what the issue is, and from doing my debuggings, I've found a very precarious situation for the entities that are causing such lag. And, hopefully I'm flying in the right direction here, actually. But yeah, my game might freeze up in a moment here, depending on the number of entities. Oh, okay, that's it. Yeah, so that is exactly what I was doing. A significant number of wither skulls, because, as it would appear, this protection around the world spawn has, in fact, not worked for some reason. Somehow the nether portal didn't get hit. But, yeah. Oh, thank goodness the first crafting table is also survived. But yeah, this is not good. Like, is this for real? I just went to the end and threw these torches through the portal, and they're just sitting in between these two blocks. Is that, like, actually the world spawn? Is in between these two blocks? Because I've never seen that before. Oh, my gosh. My gosh. Somehow, I've gone around and run the kill command a bunch, because of course they flew off into other chunks. There still seem to be a lot of them out there. I need to do more debugging work. But anyhow. Alright, so now we can talk about this building here. Now, I didn't build the roof and the time-lapse because it was late, I was tired, and wanted to go to bed. Plus, I had, you know, obviously class in the morning, and all that stuff. So I did the roof off camera later. But yeah, just as last episode, this is the building here, and yeah. That is all the buildings that I designed last episode, now built in survival. Also forgot to mention this, but I put in the door here to the brick factory. But yeah, with that, I think I'm gonna have to say that that's basically come to the end of this episode. I will build these roads off camera in between episodes. I will deal with that later, because right now I'm gonna have to say thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoy. Please make sure to tell e22 he is a dumbass and subscribe. Check out my game, which is linked in the description, and I will see you all in the next episode of Coolcraft Season 6. Bye!